Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC out here at the Avon Park Aero Miles Club. We're at club number 4747 in the AMA. All right, now this is going to be, I checked, here it is, the 22nd of July at about 7 o'clock at night, and I checked the internet right before we left, and I'm still, other than Motion RC's videos on this plane, I think I'm the first to review it. And just based upon that check, this is the 1500 millimeter SKYNETIC XCUB, and powerful 4-cell bird cub. And I had a unbox and build video, got halfway through it, and I had to make an adjustment on the camera, went back to finish the build and everything, and I never hit record, so completely lost most of the footage. And so I'm not going to take the plane apart and start over. But when we get all done, we're gonna go back to the man cave and we'll go over the post build, we'll go over the maiden, we'll go over the rates and everything I flew in, provided of course we don't have a tragedy. Now, the wheels are pneumatic, and it does come with a needle and a replacement valve, the needle valve and then a replacement valve for one tire. But Wesley on his assembly said, leave the stock air that's in there and he shouldn't have any issue. So we're gonna take it up. I've got an AR630 antennaless spectrum receiver in there, AS3X safe, the self-level, the whole 9 yards, but we're going to take off initially in manual mode. And the prop was perfectly balanced, ESC, I did have to calibrate it. Right, left, up, down, right, left. It's a good looking plane. The entire plane, there is no foam, everything's painted. There is no bare foam as far as, you know, standing in for the color. It is all painted. So all right, right, left, up, down, right, left. Got really no wind at all. The one thing I've done with in the way of running her around is I gave her a taxi test, I gave her a range test in the driveway, which she passed with no problem at all. I go down about 110 feet and put it in range mode, or in bind mode, or do it in range test. I cannot talk today. Now everything is set up by the book as far as the rates and everything, so we're gonna see how it goes. I'm in manual mode, no gyro, no help whatsoever. Okay, I'm gonna go out here. This is the Maiden. For some reason I like to be closer to the airplane. Yeah, not if I'm gonna block it, right? All right.
Flaps up.
Definitely needed some up elevator. A little bit of right aileron. Like I say, this is the first time in the air, so I'm just feeling her out. A little more up elevator. So I need a little bit of right aileron and a little bit of left elevator. Or no, a little bit of right aileron and a little bit of up elevator, but not too bad.
AS3X mode.
All right, AS3X is now on. Yeah, putting a little too much up elevator or down elevator. Up elevator, I don't know. All right.
Landing flaps. Flaps up.
Oh, definitely needs more of a mix than the suggested mix for landing flaps. She's flying pretty good now.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Oh, all righty.
Braking. Cruise mode.
Oh yeah, it's got brake. Got reverse thrust. All right, I'm going to go in there and adjust the flap mix for just a minute. All right. Okay, I'm back. Just the flat mix, and we'll go over that, like I say, in the man cave, if I'm happy with these flap settings. And I know with the flight mode, I can do it all in one flight, but like I've said many times, it's really hard to try to explain to someone what settings are on a flight mode. I don't mean to keep changing up on y'all, but I want to be able to tell you what the mix is, and can't do that if I'm in a flight mode.
Take off flaps.
All right, we'll try this now.
Flaps up.
All right.
Landing flaps. Flaps up.
All right, still need to have more of a down elevator mix, but that might be okay.
Landing flaps. Flaps up. Time remaining 2 minutes.
All right. Still gonna put a little more mix in. Go ahead and do that real quick. I'm okay with takeoff flaps, how they are. Whenever I have these pauses like that when I'm adjusting on the radio, I usually just edit that out. But I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. All right, let's get her turned around here.
Take off flaps. Flaps up. Landing flaps.
Yeah, there we go. Just a nice gentle rise. That's what I want. Flaps are in. All right.
Flaps up.
All right, we still got a minute. Let's go up and establish stall real quick.
Time remaining 1 minute.
All right, fly along, you fly along, clean stall. Lose power, how's she fly? All right, she starts slumping forward a little bit. All right. Okay. Fly along, you lose power. Up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator. All right, right wing. Try it again. Up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, elevator, elevator. Right wing. Okay. All right, right wing is the way, and it's not bad.
seconds.
All right, inverted is easy.
Seconds.
Inverted is not a problem. Another very, well, get her in the ground here.
Landing flaps.
Ah,
Flaps up. Timer expired.
all right.
Braking. Motor is nice. No bite.
The motor is nice, no bite. All right, we were 5 seconds over
Timer reset.
on a 5-minute timer, so 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Check the battery. I'm running a 3300 4S, which is the recommended battery. Got an ADC in it. Okay, battery is not even warm, barely warm. Can barely even feel it, actually. I'm gonna have to take it out though. I got the balance lead towards the rear. A big old honking battery strap in there. 56%. We're gonna go back up again. So set your timer for 7.5 minutes is the way I'm looking at it. Okay. Yeah, 56%. We can definitely go up again. All right. Let's see if I can't move that strap a little further forward. That's a good flying plane right there now. That is a good flying plane. All right. Gotta work on my landings.
Motor is mean. Gonna bite you.
All right, let me... The other thing too is I think this thing's gonna be really good at walking the dog. All right, let's take it out here and get you some grass hops. Definitely made for grass. All right.
Take off flaps.
Take off flaps.
Flaps up.
Snap rolls without any issue. That is a great flying plane. I'm very happy with my settings.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
I just wish it had lights. And since that entire airframe, every square inch of this thing is painted, I don't want to add easy lights because they'll just rip that paint right off.
Landing flaps. Flaps up.
All right, let's land in the grass this time. As pretty as you please. All right, now let's see what kind of stol capability this thing has.
Flaps up.
Right up. All right, made for grass for sure.
Braking. Cruise mode. Motor is nice. No bite.
All right, the only thing great maiden, she needed what? A little up elevator, a little right aileron. That was pretty much it. Great maiden, great flying plane. I have absolutely no complaints. The thing looks amazing, flies great. A little tricky to work out your flap situation, but that's like that with any Cub. And yeah, just real quick, I'm gonna walk a little closer because to get a good look at how beautiful this plane is, in the man cave we'll be able to see it a lot better. But the detail, the decals, the paint, everything on this plane is absolutely top notch. It looks wonderful. And folks, I'm not associated with Motion RC or SKYNETIC in any way. I used to be in their affiliate program, but they have discontinued their affiliate program or they've suspended it for the time being. That doesn't stop me from reviewing SKYNETIC or Free Wing or Flightline planes. I bought this completely on my own. I didn't do any break, and because I wanted it and I wanted to show y'all what you'd be getting for your money should you choose to fly it. And this is modeled after the actual XCUB. And it looks, the only difference between this XCUB and their full size, the full size one has a little red right here. Other than that, it's identical. All right, folks, well, it's got clear canopy. And there's a real person inside. Well, folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll meet you back in the man cave. We'll go over all the rates and everything about this plane, but I am a very happy camper, and this is a great, very beginner. It could be a beginner plane, definitely your second or third. We'll try to give you a safe demonstration maybe next at some point, but the weather's kind of getting bad, so we may have to leave. But thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all. God is good, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, XCUBs, and let's keep them in the air. Bye, y'all. I forgot to check when I landed the XCUB after checking the battery the first time, and after a full, I guess over almost 8 minutes of flying, still had 39% left. So. Very good on the battery, and that's the battery, 3300 4S. So, oh shoot. Well, anyways, thanks. Well, hey folks, how y'all doing? This is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Fat Guy Flies RC studios. All right, now as you can see in front of you, this is the XCUB from SKYNETIC, 1500 millimeter wingspan, and we took her out today and got a maiden, got 2 good flights in it with her, and I want to tell you, the thing flies great. It absolutely flies great. It flies as good as it looks. But before we start going over the specs and everything about the plane and the flight and all my settings, let's look at the plane for just a moment, okay? Number one, I didn't use it, but what you have an available tow release right there. And if you look up inside there, you can see towards the top, see that servo? All right, well, there's a lead that comes to where you plug in your receiver that gives you the option, So do you want to use tow release? It has a tow release lead. So if you want to tow another glider or something like that, or it can definitely handle it. But that is something I won't be doing. But I want you to look at the riveting. This is foam. Even though it looks metallic, honestly it does, it looks metallic. The foam is painted. There is not a square centimeter on this plane that is not covered with paint or decal or something, but there's no foam, bare foam anywhere. Very slick, has very nice flaps. Now everything's is a foam hinge, but it's a laminate reinforced hinge. Definitely true to scale. The XCUB that this is modeled out, the only difference is that it has some red coloring here on it. But other than that, this thing is exactly the same. Even got the rivets in the panel lines on the tail. I mean the panel lines and the rivets on the rudder. Look how thick that rudder is, or the elevator is. The only thing it's not scale, obviously, is the blacked out cockpit. Look at the front of the plane, how the engine mold and everything. It's all hard plastic. Okay, that's all hard plastic right there. Now I've given it a clear coat. I've done that. The wheels are simple pneumatic wheels. You do get a replacement valve, one of these valves here, and the needle, but you'll have to supply your own bicycle pump type, like this right here. Okay. Now I didn't need it. The air is fine. What comes stock is fine. And when you set it down, it's got the battery in it. It has just a small, ever so slightly amount of give on the ground as far as it being puffy. No more than what your car looks like sitting there. Okay. The underside of it is done real well. All ball link connections and everything other than the elevator and the rudder is hooked up for you. CG is 60 to 65 back from the leading edge, which is, I've got it marked right here. Just so many things. This plane just looks so good. Now the color match on the landing gear versus the blue is a little off, but I can live with that. The prop was balanced. The ESC did need to be calibrated, which is very simple to do. This bolts in. You put your bolts in as far as the overview of the build, because I actually had an unbox and build video. I got the unboxing part done, started to film, and actually started putting together. Notice I need to adjust my camera. When I adjust my camera, I stopped recording, but I didn't know I was not recording and just kept right on. Got her all done, put together, and closed out my usual, hey, thank you for watching, yada, yada, yada. And went to look at the footage and lost it after the first part of the build. Yeah, I'm not saying, well, I'm not going to take the plane apart and start over. So we'll just talk about after the maiden. That's what we're doing now. But all the nice thing about it is all the little bags, you have separate screws for the struts, for the landing gear, and the wings. Okay. And every bag is labeled. It says wing struts. It says elevator struts, landing gear strut. Everything's labeled, so you don't have to worry about messing that up. The instructions are very detailed, but I'll be honest, I thought, well, maybe I could redo that build video. Watch Wesley's build video on the Motion RC website. It's everything I did, and I did exactly the same. I set it up by the book. But like I said, all ball link, everything's done except for you got to hook up the ball links on the elevator and the rudder. Make sure the tail, there's absolutely no glue needed at all for this. The whole rudder just snaps in place. You make sure that when you put your rudder on, that you key the wheel, the tail wheel here, keys into a slot. It's obvious. Key that in, pop the rudder in, put your elevator on first, and it just lays in there. It sandwiches in there one screw that's labeled, goes right through that hole there, that holds it in place. Then you snap your rudder in, paying attention to your tail wheel. Snap that in, you're done. Hook up your push rods. The wing is held on by 4 bolts. They're labeled. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that hold the struts in. Now, when you put those screws for the struts in, put it at this angle, and you can appreciate why, because you can't, it's hard to get a screwdriver in at this angle. It'll go in this way and go in this way. Same over here, and it's the same screw, and they're just an aggressive looking wood screw. All right. I think that's enough to make sure you take the prop off, and that's nice. You got this one screw, holds the spinner on, and then you take the spinner off, and then you got your typical bolt and adapter type scenario going on. All right, now I set it up by the book. Okay, we'll go over my AS3X last. Let's go over the flying rates and everything you watched in the video of how I flew the plane. I'm still kind of not completely happy about my flap settings, and I know I have jerked y'all's chain back and forth on flap settings, whether flight mode or using flap settings, and I'll be honest, and like I have said many times before, flight modes are wonderful if you're the only person flying. Okay, if I'm flying just for me and I'm not trying to explain to you how this thing works or how things go, then I would go flight modes all day long for a elevator to flap mix. But if in order to tell you, those of you, because the vast majority of y'all don't use flight modes, it's hard for me to explain the mix, which is all flight modes are, is just mixes that are adjustable on the fly and they keep their settings. Is hard to explain that to you. Say, well, how many, when you put in landing flaps, well, it ends up being so many clicks of elevator. Well, that doesn't help you. You need to know what percentage in spectrum. So anyways, let's talk about the book rates. Now, their high rate for aileron is 20 millimeters, and on spectrum, what that ends up being is 100%. And they tell you 20% expo or 10% expo. I always go 30% expo, so I didn't follow the book on that. Okay. And I only flew in my high rates. Their low rate on ailerons are 15, and that works out to 70% in spectrum. And of course, I still use my 30% expo. Elevator for their high rate is 22. And 22 millimeters, and for me that ended up being 125 on. Now I could have moved. They have the ball link on the outermost hole on the control arm for the control surface. If I wanted to get that elevator at 22 millimeters and keep it at 100%, I would have to move that ball link all the way in, but I didn't want to have to undo it because, screw and washer and all that. It was just too tight. So instead, if I put my Spectrum transmitter at 125, now I got the 22 millimeters and 30% expo. Low worked out pretty good though. 75% on Spectrum with 30% expo. Rudder is the only one that I never follow the instructions on a rudder. I always just use my own rate. And for me, that is 100% throws based upon how they had and I probably could go in there and get more because they've got it. They want you to hook up your push rod at the furthest most hole on the servo, but it's on the outermost hole that's actually on the servo or the arm on the control surface. If I moved it to the end one, to the end hole, the inside hole, then I would get more throw with that rudder. But trust me, that is plenty of throw with that rudder. That's a big rudder. Okay. Now I'll share my flap settings with you, how I ended up. I did set the flaps up, their stock deflection. And they do mention that you may need an elevator mix, but they don't really go into any detail about it. Okay. Now, flaps up in Spectrum are 100%, no mix, obviously. Position 1 or takeoff flaps, okay, is 40% on Spectrum with a 20% down elevator. Okay. See, look,
Flaps up.
watch that change.
Flaps.
Okay. Landing flaps are almost barn doors there. And then the book calls out and it works out to -40 on spectrum with a 45% down elevator mix. Look at how much is deflecting down. Because if you do not put a mix in and you put landing flaps in, this thing immediately balloons. I mean, it balloons so bad, it'll just take you right on back over again. So way too much, but I've set the flaps up by their book. At half flaps is 15 millimeters, full flaps 40 millimeters. And I had to make a monster amount of down elevator to get it to where I was happy with it. And even still, even with that much down elevator on landing, even with that much, okay, she still will rise a little bit. Okay, because, and they say, well, put in less flap down deflection on your flap. I wanted to set the flaps by the book, and that's what I did. Okay, now, so that's that. That's the flying rates and the flaps thing. Let's talk about forward programming. Okay, now I ended up installing an AR630 antenna-less receiver, and I had absolutely no problem with signal. It worked great. This is an older one. It's not been updated, so I don't have stop lock and release rate. I've just got gains and priority. I have heading, but I don't have everything with heading. The gains are at one-time gains. I obviously don't have a nose wheel gyro. Okay.
AS3X mode.
The way I set my gains up, we're all on roll pitching, y'all. We're all 60, 60, and 60. And that seems to work out really well. My priority, I left them alone at the way the receiver came. Like I said, this is the older software AS3X Plus. When AS3X Plus first came out, I have not updated this particular receiver. So all the priorities are all at 160, and I left them alone, and the plane flew really well at 160, and my gains are also adjustable on the knob. So if let me show you, let me demonstrate something to you, but I got to turn the plane on. Let me get over here behind the prop so I turn the plane around. Okay, so I'm going to turn the prop on.
Motor is mean. Gonna bite you.
Okay, let me get out of there. Okay. Got to make sure the AS3X is on. Okay, with a roller all the way down. Okay, see, there's no gyro, nothing happening. When I turn the roller all the way up, however, you can hear that gyro working. So I found myself flying around with that roller just about a little less than half, and that seemed to get her locked in pretty good. Very little deflection needed, very little correction needed from the gyro. Now understand,
motor is nice. No bite.
No bite. Another custom call out. This is what it says when motor turns on.
Motor is mean. Gonna bite you. Motor is nice. No bite.
Okay. No bite. So anyways, there's my AS3X settings. That's what works for me. Folks, when you watch my videos, and sometimes how I do technically and how I set things up, y'all are going, I don't understand that. And that doesn't make sense, or that's not the right way to do it, or yada, yada, yada. What I tell you and what I teach you is based upon what works for me. And when I show you something, when I give you a setting, when I give you a this, that, and the other, or some sort of thing, I've already tested it in the field, and I've shown it to you on flight. You know, or I'm going to go do it, and now we're going to talk about it and see it worked just fine. I'm just telling you what works for me. I might be doing like setting these throws up and mixes and things. It may not be right. It may not be the right way of doing it. You may say, no, there's a better way. I'm just telling you what works for me and how Fat Guy does it. May not be the right way. May not be, there may be a better way. But this is what works for me, and this is how I do things. So just for what it's worth. All right, because I have a lot of people who just absolutely, no, you're doing that all wrong. You need to do it this way. Or, yeah, that's a good idea, but maybe you should try this. And I do listen to all these things, but at the end of the day, I still end up going with what I'm used to. And this is how I set things up, and this is how I do it. So anyways, there you go. Thank you so much for watching. That is the I cannot talk. The X-Fly. It's the XCUB, and this is the SKYNETIC latest release. Before I went out to fly today, now it's the 23rd of July, but I went out on the 22nd and checked the internet, and I was still the only one that had any kind of review or anything to do with this plane that had anything posted on YouTube, other than Motion RC and Wes Miller's and his stuff. So, folks, oh yeah, we need to go talk about CG. Already talked about CG is 5565 from the leading edge route. I think that's what I said. Did I say 55? No, 60 to 65. And I'm going to show you where I got the battery at. I put it right there. She's pretty good right there. Okay, high wings are usually very forgiving. Okay, and that is with a 3300 4S, almost all the way forward. I can go forward a little bit more. But yeah, she flew, and then back there in the back on that little shelf, to the right on that shelf, you can kind of see there's the AR-630 back there. So now if you want to use, oh yeah, it's also got thrust reverse. So if you want to use thrust reverse and the tow release, you're going to need at least 7 channels. So, well folks, there you go. That's the XCUB from SKYNETIC, the latest release from Motion RC and SKYNETIC. That's their in-house brand. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a very happy fat guy. This thing flies great. It looks great. The only thing I wish it has lights. I wish it had some lights. And today, I'm sorry about the footage. Today was just an overcast, nasty gray sky. It was in the high 70s, low 80s. With a slight breeze, so it felt great for this hot weather we've been having. But for filming, it sucked. Filming sucked because, especially anything that doesn't have lights or anything, it was very hard to. I mean, there's no clouds or anything in the background, just blank sky, blank gray blue sky. So, anyways, there you go. Y'all have a good and God bless y'all. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, XCUBs. God is good. Let's keep it in the air. Bye.